All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, Ship It Nation YouTube station? We are back with another edition of the NBA show. It is Friday. There have been 917 trades since the last time BJ and I were on. We're going to break it all down. Who's in, who's out. We're going to give you the best plays of the day. Appreciate you tuning in. If you are new, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We certainly appreciate it. Jim Parrish, hit up info@shipitnation.com if you have any questions around your billing. I don't know what you signed up for, but info@shipitnation.com. We'll get you squared away on that. BJ, what's going on, my man? How's your week been? Sunny here, sunny and cold here in Tennessee today. What's going on with you out there in sunny California?
Man, it's good. You know, we have I'm in the high desert, so we got those winds coming through like 20 miles an hour or something. So I'm staying inside. But yeah, no, jacked up. It's Friday. We were sweating some golf. I love the PGA product. You'll talk about the discount code in a second. So we're having a nice little sweat there. Also, finished up my last fast food meal for quite a bit. Me and the boys are doing a weight loss challenge. Got some money on that. I don't have any fun losing weight, but when there's money involved, we'll jump into that. Locking in almost 250, brother. 250 over here. I'm almost 6'3", but it was pretty not a good time to look at that number on the scale. But we're gonna lose that in the next 100 days. Excited to talk some basketball. Interesting slate here. We got, some value stuff kind of condensing on two teams, a bunch of blowouts, a bunch of pending trades, like what you had said. Shout out to the NBA though, making it all exciting. Can't wait to break it down.
Yeah, should be breaking it down. My big question though, what was the last meal for BJ for quite some time? I got to know what that was.
So everybody knows I'm a big McDonald's guy. Unfortunately, we snuck in some Del Taco this morning. So snuck in some Del Taco. Had a sugary fruit punch and a big burger. We're going to be all done. We're going to start fasting. Chicken, rice, and broccoli. That's what we're going to break down for a little bit, get back into fighting weight. So I can't wait for that.
There we go. Miss BJ over there has got to love that. A slim down BJ. Uh-oh, watch out.
Watch out, ladies.
Baby number 2 in about 9 or 10 months. Let's go. Certainly appreciate everyone tuning in. Yeah, as you alluded to, hey, we still got a promo code going on, SHIP50. Get your first $50 off your first month. Gives you all access. I know the boys were recording the Super Bowl show. You talked about the PGA. The PGA has just been absolutely on fire over here, but enter the promo code SHIP50. You can get in over here on the action for us. But we got 6 games to break down tonight. Let's get back to the comments. Is Luka
Shout out to Nate, the Andrew Reesberg. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, but that was hilarious.
No, I didn't see it. What happened?
No, I mean she's like doing her own little burger or whatever it is, for her being for all of her burgers. I don't really know the kind of message behind it, but I was dying. I saw it on Twitter. Catch me at Open Gym, kind of padding my stats like her. So we'll see how it turns out. Yeah,
absolutely. And Mr. Mike's daddy, yes, Luka is playing tomorrow. Got off the phone with him a couple hours ago. He did say he would be playing tomorrow, so that's big news for the Lakers making his debut. He wanted to wish everybody in this Discord chat too, just a great weekend and looking forward to getting back out there on the court with the Lakers. But hey, let's get right into it. We got 99 of you in here. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Hey, I got Scotty Scheffler on the to win outright plus 550 BJ. So hopefully Monday we're winning that. I had me a nice little sweat over on the FanDuel streets Monday night. Hopefully we can duplicate that again. We're going to be using our proprietary information, the Stone over here, going game by game. And this one, the first game up, should be not much of a game. We have De'Aaron Fox and the new look Spurs heading into Charlotte to take on these Hornets. Laundry list of injuries for these Hornets. I know no Brandon Miller, no Dalton Connect. I do not believe newly acquired Dalton Connect. LaMelo is questionable, but is slated to play. Josh Green is doubtful. No Nurkic as well. The new Hornet as well. Josh Okogie has been listed out. Grant Williams out with an ACL. Then on the other side, I don't see any major news. BJ, I know Charles Bassey is out. Not major, but he is out. But anything I missed, and then talk to me about this game, Spurs at the Hornets.
Yeah, no, I think you dialed it all in on the injuries. Pretty interesting game here to start. When you look at the slate as a whole, these studs, for the higher priced players, we got some questions around them, whether it's Cade or LaMelo with the questionable tag. Giannis questionable as well. I'm leaning toward him missing, but we'll get to that game in a second. Essentially, we're going to find ourselves right, staring in the crosshairs of do we play Wemby or not. Personally, I'm not going to, so I'll kind of start the game with that. 11K coming off the illness, still a little tired. It looks like you're watching that game the other night. He looked a little fatigued, not so much, work down in the paint. A lot of just catch and shoot. Was pretty ugly to watch. So I'll be off of him tonight, especially at 15-20% ownership. And then to add on to that, the Hornets defense hasn't been so bad over the last month, as I keep saying on every show. Had a couple of stinkers, but I think their defense is still pretty solid. So not really much here for the Spurs. Obviously, Fox, I think if you play the narrative that Wemby is a little fatigued coming off the illness, he's a little hesitant, a little bit more pass first and not be aggressive on offense, all of that responsibility is going to fall on Fox. Just an awesome first performance from him. I think he was the first player in franchise history in their first game to have at least 20 points and at least 10 assists. So pretty cool stuff. So anyways, I really like him. I like the opportunity. He has 4 assists, especially when they kind of spread it out with shooters, kind of taking away some ball handling from Chris Paul. So I really like Fox. And like I said, no case for Wemby. Vassell's price is a little up there. Same with Chris Paul, especially with Fox in the mix. I'm going to take a back seat and kind of see what kind of comes from this trade and how they want to run rotations. So I'll be out on both of those guys here. No thanks on Harrison Barnes, but with such a big total or with such a big spread and such a big team total, I anticipate the Spurs to score some points tonight and kind of have this game taken care of after about 3.5 quarters, which would lead to a few extra minutes for these bench guys. So interesting plays down low at essentially no ownership. We know we have tons of value as we kind of get down the slate, but I am real interested to kind of look at some of these guys. Castle's a little expensive, but I wouldn't be surprised if, he's productive in his minutes off the bench against this Hornets, second unit. But Champagnie, Keldon Johnson, Sohan, those guys are going to be, I'm going to put them into my thought process as we're kind of building. Not like smash plays, not like you have to get to them. But I am kind of playing with the idea of playing Fox and maybe Bridges on the other side and kind of getting one of these guys off the bench for the Spurs. Love Keldon Johnson. I don't mind Champagnie. And then the Sohan stuff is really interesting at 4,700. As we drop over to the Hornets side, it's interesting for me about LaMelo Ball being questionable tonight. I believe he started, full contact in practice just a couple days ago. So I would lean on him not being in tonight and kind of the Hornets eating 1 or 2 more games without him, which would lead me straight to Miles Bridges. Yes, his price is up at 9K. Yes, he's coming off a stinker last time out. But he's just producing, at 9K, you're going to want somebody that has a decent floor. I believe we saw his, very bottom basement floor the other night out where he produced, I believe, like 26, 27 DraftKings points. I believe that's the lowest it'll get. And the Spurs defense, as I haven't mentioned yet, hasn't been, the best. They've been ranking near the bottom in most categories over the last month and a half. I believe Bridges can take advantage of that. So he'll be my favorite play, but we can't skip over Diabate at 4,300. Obviously, with Mark Williams leaving, we're going to open up a ton of minutes. He's notorious this season and from seasons, or I'm sorry, just specifically this season, but notorious for a really low fantasy point per minute producer. But if you take his last 4, he's producing more than 1 fantasy point per minute. I believe since he's been getting his minutes increased, we saw him at like 0.71, 0.72 fantasy points per minute. Now we're up to 0.9. So that's on the up and up. I believe he gets huge minutes tonight. If that's the case, 4,300 just isn't enough. And that's pretty much it. If LaMelo Ball misses, we'll see extended minutes from Nick Smith, Saloon, however you want to pronounce that. He played 22 minutes coming off his first game back, asserted back into the lineup. I believe he missed a week with an illness, but he's 3K flat minimum. Really interesting, when you compare it to some other value pieces. He could see, I have him at like 25 minutes. That might be a touch too high, but I would not be surprised to see 25 minutes. But we kind of spent a lot of time on a game that, isn't, the best on the slate, but I believe there are some opportunities in this game to get some low ownership and get different.
Yeah, you didn't mention Daquan Jeffries. Any love for him? He played 29 minutes last game. I think Taj was out or didn't play that game, but I think Taj is available as a pivot off Diabate, who should be highly owned. What do we have him at right now? We have Diabate at almost 18%. Any Daquan Jeffries love?
Personally, no. I believe, if we're gonna, we have some value coming up in the next slate, or I'm sorry, in the next game. Obviously different positions, but kind of get on both sides with Holmes and Vuk and Keyshawn George kind of all playing through his position. So I'd rather go one of these Wizards guys in the next game than get to him being such a low fantasy point per minute producer.
Yeah, no Mark Williams either. I didn't mention that. Shipped off to
He's
the Lakers.
a Laker. I can't wait for that. We didn't talk about that. We kind of suspected the Lakers are going to make a move, but that was a very exciting move. So I'm interested to see in a week or two how that lineup kind of plays out. It should be a lot of fun.
I know you saw it on X, but someone posted where Anthony Davis's last game as a Laker went for like 40 and 25 on Mark Williams.
They played him, I think, in back-to-back games, I want to say, right? If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, ate him up. And but I thought the funnier video, you guys may have seen it, was AD at practice, and the entire team is getting all excited. Their assistant coach, I believe, was throwing up half-court shots, and AD just sitting there with his hands behind his back. I saw it was like when you transfer to a new classroom in grade school. And I thought that was funny, but yeah, they gave the Celtics a whooping last night, so maybe they're in a good spot.
Yeah, Parabay disagrees with us. Thinks that Wemby's going to crush against Diabate, Jeffries, Taj Gibson, you name it. Thinks he's going to crush. We shall see. Moving on to the next game on my docket, we have the Cavaliers, and you see that right, 17.5-point favorites over the Washington Wizards, who have absolutely nobody left. With the trade of Kuzma to Milwaukee, Donovan Mitchell should be good. Darius Garland should be good. Ty Jerome, I know, got written up as well today. Karis LeVert, he's out, obviously, no longer a member. Sam Merrill is out for personal reasons. Nang got traded away. Dean Wade is also out. And then talk to me a little bit about this Wizards team. I think they got 8 guys that are available, with Alex Sarr being out and all the trades happening. No access to Chris Middleton either, from what I'm seeing. But talk to me about this game. It should be a blowout. Shouldn't be pretty, but Cleveland minus 17.5 in the nation's capital.
Yeah. Really quick, talking back to Parabay. Shout out to Parabay. And shout out to a handful of others in here that are always providing great content in the Discord. Me personally, the way that I'm looking at it is I'd rather save the $1,000 for Embiid, who will probably get 4 or 5 extra minutes than Wemby. Plus, you throw in the fact that, the Spurs can kind of handle this Hornets team. I would not be surprised for Wemby to see like 28 minutes tonight. I think that price tag just a little too high. Obviously has the upside, but shout out to Parabay, always in the Discord providing awesome information. And then, shout out to the Cavs getting DeAndre Hunter. Really interested to see what that team looks like, kind of moving forward. They've obviously played so well this season that they've put themselves in discussion. But I think with that trade, they are. I mean, Hunter's playing some of the best basketball he's played yet. This is going to be the game here. This is going to be really interesting as far as how the value shakes up. I believe it's going to be 8 players. It kind of touch what Rio said in the Discord, and that's if all these guys play. So yes, we get the Wizards G League team tonight. We'll start with the easier side before we kind of break down the tougher side for the Cavs. I mean, you said it. It's 18 points. It's 128 team total, which is a huge big boy number. But I'm really hesitant on all these Cavs guys. I mean, I agree with the chat. I don't know who said it. I don't have it up on the screen now, but I hope one of these guys get ruled out. This would be the perfect night to get some rest. I know they rested Mitchell last time out. Don't know when they rested Garland, recently, but that would be an interesting rest spot for him. But yeah, LeVert had a bad night and they shipped him off. So kind of opened up, some more Ty Jerome stuff off of the bench. But for the starting 5, I believe if I'm going to target anybody in this lineup, it's going to be one of the bigs, Mobley or Allen down low. I don't think that they're going to be able to stop either one of these guys at the rim. And 84 and 64 are some pretty fair prices for them. I believe either one of those guys can produce in 3 quarters. I expect this game to be out of hand by then. And you get him at decently low ownership. Lean Allen for the discount. Mobley's going to be a great play as well. Donovan Mitchell at 8,600 with how popular he is going to be on tonight's slate. It's just going to be a fade for me. I mean, I just, obviously this entire lineup can show upside and produce well. But I'm notching down all their minutes, a couple of clicks, just because I don't think they get that fourth quarter run. Additionally, if you watch some of these Cav games, they've kind of ran the Garland, Allen, and the Mitchell Mobley kind of at separate times once the game has gotten started. And not anything. I mean, I have to go look at it to make sure that I'm correct, but just what I'm seeing from these handful of these games that I've watched is that Garland and Allen get that early fourth quarter run. So I would lean one of those guys over Mitchell or Mobley, just because, if it is a 17, 19-point game and the fourth quarter starts, I think Garland and Allen get that run versus the Mitchell and the Mobley, who usually come in about that 6 or 7 minute mark. So I'll kind of lean both of those guys. Yes, Ty Jerome off the bench, 4,700 in a blowout. He would get some run. Also interested to see how he plays. I mean, as a player, at least for me, if it was kind of a competition between, myself and LeVert, if I'm Ty Jerome and kind of, becoming that 6th, 7th man and both playing together, got to instill some confidence that they shipped him off and kind of put their eggs in your basket, get a few extra shots with the second unit. Really interested to see how he plays tonight. So I do like Ty Jerome, as the rest of the field is most likely going to like Ty Jerome. I believe that 18% number will get a little bit higher before lock. The interesting side is this Wizard side. So, I mean, steal a nugget from Rio Slate Plan. I mean, I was unaware that Bub Carrington led the team in touch time last time out. Obviously, all these guys had huge nights. But to kind of break it down, I mean, Holmes is questionable. So if he was to Mitch, are we going to pronounce it Vooch, right? I saw on the Discord it was the knockoff, or the what is that called? The knockoff brand Vooch. So I'll go with that. If Holmes is in, I believe they split the minutes kind of fairly. I would anticipate both of them to be kind of like that 20 to 24 minute mark on both sides of the basketball. So that's kind of where I'll sit there. I'm going to lean Holmes if that's the case as the starter, even though he is $500 more. That's just how I lean. But it is going to be interesting to take into consideration half of the ownership. So I may be wrong on that, but I'm interested in these wing guys with Coulibaly, Keyshawn George, Bub Carrington. I mean, all these guys are very fair prices. Coulibaly coming off a triple-double, which he converted every potential assist to an assist. So that was really interesting. I don't expect that again tonight, but 5,500 for a guy, that's going to be able to play. I mean, I have all these guys between 30 and 33 minutes. So all these guys are going to be in play for me. I think I'm off the Jordan Poole stuff just because the price, and I think he's one of the guys off of the floor first in a blowout. So I don't expect him to be, down 24 with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, still getting run. So that's kind of where I'll focus. I mean, some guys off of the bench. I mean, Brogdon at 4,900. I expect him to play. He is questionable, but I expect him to play with the bodies. They're going to be really careful this minutes. I mean, I have what he play last time out. I believe it was 22 minutes. I don't have it written down.
17.
Was it 22 the game before? 22
yeah, 22. Yeah, 21. He's played in 4 or 3 straight. This would be his 4th straight. Injury report says plantar fasciitis contusion. I think is what it says. Yeah. I mean, specifically that injury. I'm no doctor, but I don't think you want to be messing around in a 24-point game, getting him some extra runs. So I think they'll be easy with minutes for him tonight. And then, Kispert off the bench. I mean, he's going to see mid-20s in minutes, 4,100. He's going to be the lowest owned of the bunch. He obviously has the upside if that shot falls, but if that shot falls, he could kind of just eat up a hole in your lineup. So I'm going to focus on, if Holmes and Vuk are in, kind of deciding where ownership lands. I mean, I lean Holmes now, but if the ownership is double, case to be made to kind of flop those. But it's going to be these wing guys for me with Bub Carrington, Keyshawn George just being way too cheap to get away from at 32-minute projections. Yeah, excellent breakdown there. Craig Porter Jr. is getting a lot of love in the chat. I don't think
he's playing, is he? I'm going to look that up really quick. I thought
the chat seems to think so. Ricky Rose thinks that the Wizards can keep it close. I would disagree with you, Ricky. I think it is a blowout when you got the guys of Tristan Vukovic, or however you say his name, playing. Who I really like tonight is going to be Corey Kispert, $4,100. I think we can take his point total over to the bank. I really like Corey Kispert tonight in over total points, and also like him in DFS at $4,100. I forget who it was Monday night, but my play of the day it was Amen Thompson a couple weeks ago. I mean, that was money. It might have been Monday night actually, but in any event, moving on to the next game. Excellent breakdown there.
And I'm sorry to interrupt real quick.
Yeah,
The Porter Jr. stuff is interesting. You know, he's going to play somewhere between 15, maybe as high as 20 minutes. You know, that's going to be my fault for kind of skipping that. I'm going to dive into that when this show is over and kind of share my thoughts in the Discord. But yeah, certainly an interesting spot here, especially if you project him to get all that fourth quarter run. So yeah, I'm going to dive into that and kind of share my thoughts in the Discord after the show.
Yeah, awesome. Excellent breakdown. Make sure you hit that like. Make sure you hit that subscribe. We got over 200 of you in here watching. We certainly appreciate you doing that. Next up on the slate should be, I guess, a decent game. Hawks missing some folks. Also the Bucks, the new look Bucks. We believe Kyle Kuzma is going to be in. Correct, BJ? Taking the place of Chris Middleton. Dame time looks to be playing. Obviously, you want to make sure if Giannis is playing, he's in a great spot. But he late scratched last time. Talk to me a little bit about this game. You got the Bucks at the Hawks. Hawks obviously still missing Jalen Johnson, who's been out for quite some time. Clint Capella is also going to be out for the Hawks. None of the new guys for the Hawks are going to be in there. That is Bones Highland, Karis LeVert, as we talked about, Terrence Mann, Georges Niang, big body David Roddy, not with the team currently. And then anybody from the Bucks that I missed, I see Connaughton is questionable, but looks like everybody else is going to play. And then real quick, BJ, Kevin Porter Jr. is not in. The newly acquired Kevin Porter Jr. from the Clippers will not see this contest. But talk to me about this game, Bucks in the ATL.
I'm going to pull it a second time and go back to the last game for some stuff in chat. Like, real question, Ham. To be an 18-point favorite in the NBA is an outrageous number. And with how bad, I mean, what do the Wizards have? 9 wins on the season. I know they've won 3 straight, but realistically speaking, if this game is played 100 times, how many times are the Wizards, in contention of this game? Kind of the thought process. I agree with what Parabay said. If this game does stay close, obviously you want these Cavs at fair prices. We've said it before on previous shows. When the Cavs are on or are in close games, their prices, aren't necessarily to that level. I believe all these guys are about $400 or $500 short of what they should be because they played so many games that are out of touch kind of going in the fourth quarter. But obviously it is the NBA, so blowouts, we can't really predict those. But I'm going to lean in the bucket of, hey, I think the Cavs take care of business in this game, and none of the starters are playing that final 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes of the game. So sorry to kind of go back.
Yeah, no, I mean, just real quick too. Like it takes us back to that Monday night game, right, where we had the Thunder, we had the Bucks. I think it was a similar. Actually, I think it was like 11 or 12 point spread with no Lopez, no Giannis, no Dame time. And you even said it. I mean, the Thunder scored 9 points in the fourth quarter and still won by 29. And no Thunder guy was needed on the winner. You didn't need him. There was one guy that had a really good game. I forget his name, and he was like under 1% owned. It's like Tambo always talks about in the NFL. It's like, yeah, great job. You got that 1% owned guy, but you had to get your rest of your lineup right too. But I think this is one of those games, right? You got a championship level team in the Cavs going up against a G League team. They're going to blow them out. They're going to be up 35 going into the fourth quarter, and those dudes aren't going to play, and they may cut it down to 25. That's just my take on it. But obviously, play it how you think. That's how I think it's going to happen. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to the next one. I kind of ran through all the injuries, but if anything you want to add to it. But Bucks, 5.5-point favorites, pretty high total, 240 point total, 41, taking on the Hawks.
Yeah, no, interesting. Before I dive in, do you think this 5.5-point spread is leaning for Giannis out? I mean, I'm not really like a sports betting guy. I mean, I'm a loser at that, but I'm kind of curious. I mean, 5.5 just seems a little too low if Giannis was to be in the game. So I'm going to lean that he's out. Where do you kind of stand on that before we dive in?
Yeah, if Giannis is out, it'll probably go up because he's not any good. But
see how we segued that? The two people that hate Giannis. See how we did that? We drew that up pre-show. I love it.
No, I mean, I think that's about right. I mean, you got the home court, whatever that means, for Atlanta. But yeah, I mean, who's going to guard? Who can guard Giannis on the Hawks? I mean, is it Okongwu? I don't know about that. So, yeah, we'll see. But that does seem kind of low now that you say that. If Giannis were to play, if Giannis were to go out, or if Giannis was in, it may go up to like 7.5 or something. But other than that, it's probably going to stay around 5.5.
Yeah, so this is obviously one of the like 2 or 3 spots on the slate. They're going to dictate how we make lineups. You said it. I mean, what a great spot here for Giannis. I mean, the Hawks, they're just a great matchup, obviously, and run the floor. But they can't stop points at the rim, right? You know, it's they just give them up. And now they've lost DeAndre Hunter on the other side. So, yeah, I mean, Okongwu cannot stop Giannis if he is in the game. This will definitely be a night for as much as I hated to be playing a lot of Giannis if he is ruled in. I mean, 242 and a half, if my math is correct, or close to that. I mean, it's just a huge total, 124 points for the Bucks. I think Dame will get slowed down a little bit with Dyson Daniels, the Dyson Daniels matchup on the other side, who hasn't necessarily been, you know, Rio did mention that in Slate, hasn't necessarily been like the super lockdown defender that we saw to start the season. But still, it's a very tough matchup, and Dame's been hooping, but I mean, I don't know, 8,700 against Dyson Daniels on the other side. I think I'd rather go Giannis. If he is ruled out, load up all the Bobby Portis, load up all the Dame. And I think that's going to segue right into Kyle Kuzma. I mean, I mentioned it. I think it was with you last week. I hate watching that guy play basketball. He's fun when he's on your roster, but I am really interested to see what a guy like this is able to do on a team that's actually structured well. Obviously, if Giannis is out, I'm going to want it. He's going to take shots, 6,100. It just kind of reminds me of, you know, getting Fox a couple of slates ago at low ownership because they wanted to kind of wait and see what his role was going to be. Obviously, I think you needed him, you know, to be on the winner. All the contests I was in had Fox as the winner. And he will only be in play if Giannis is out. But I'm going to lock up all the Kyle Kuzma if that is the case. Like I said, the Hawks are really bad at giving up points to the rim, and Brook Lopez necessarily isn't. You know, that back to the basket kind of center that we're used to seeing that take advantage of these matchups. But at 5,400, if Giannis is out, you know, kind of in this up and down game, I think he gets up an extra 3 or 2 and a good matchup at essentially no ownership. That will definitely go up when Giannis is ruled out. But that's a really interesting play. Let's see if I missed anybody here on this side. That's going to be it for the Bucks for me. If Giannis is in, I'm playing Giannis, and I'm not playing Dame or Kuz or Lopez. If he's ruled out, then I'm going to get, you know, Dame, Bobby, Kyle Kuzma, Brook Lopez. I would order them Portis, Dame, Kuz, Lopez probably. If the slate were to start right now, but definitely Bobby Portis 5,500. But I am, like I said, really interested to see what Kyle Kuzma can do when Giannis is off the floor. Then the Hawks stuff, I mean, first of all, great matchup for Trey. They kind of, you know, give up that long 3 as a unit for the Bucks. So really interested in Trey. I mean, his assists are just kind of, or not kind of, they are really high, stupid highly, obviously in the NBA with assists. So I'm really interested in him. And then Dyson Daniels at 7,200, you know, seems like a big price tag, but it's been a couple of slates in a row that I've thrown him on a roster at 2 or 3%, and he's just absolutely smashing his tag, playing a ton of minutes. You know, he's getting to the rim, obviously has his upside with stocks. Really like him, and I think Ricochet is going to be in play at 4,500. I think they're going to want to continue to get him more minutes, and I believe now that Hunter's gone, I mean, he's just opened up the floodgates. You know, he could see – I have 30 here, but that could be a little high. So if he gets 28, 29 minutes at 4,500 – at essentially, okay, I thought that was 1%. At 19%, he's still going to be in play for me. I really like him. The download stuff with Barlow, Okongwu, no thank you. I mean, Okongwu, you know, finally gets the minutes and dropped 30 real life. So the price tag is going to be fair. Did hit a couple threes in that game, so I'm not going to go back to the well here with a tough matchup with, even if Giannis is out, with Brook Lopez on the other side and Bobby Portis. And then Krejci's really interesting to me off the bench at 4,500. Somebody's going to have to fill these minutes with no Hunter. And, you know, if you don't like the Ricochet stuff at 4,500, definitely go Krejci at 4,500 for, you know, minuscule ownership. So I really like that there. But that's pretty much it for me. I mean, we're always going to want to target games that the Hawks are in just because of the pace that they play and the amount of defense they pretend to play. And I think it's going to be obviously contingent upon how, if Giannis is in, and then if he is out, load up all the other guys for the Bucks.
Yeah, excellent breakdown there. I'm with you. I really like Dame time if Giannis sits. I mean, obviously if Giannis sits, I like me some Dame time tonight. Excellent breakdown there. Wardo thinks that Trae Young is buns. So
I could already see his picture he posted in the chat the other night. I said something about him and I knew what it was before he came in. Love it, Wardo. Absolutely love the hate for him. But you got to roster him once in a while. I mean, the upside of having 35 and 17 assists what's his projected ownership tonight?
Yeah, it's high. It's almost 30%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, then I kind of be off it, but the tag's just too low. I mean, hits a couple of shots from deep, and these guys around him are allowed to hit shots. I mean, we could see, like I said, 30 and 15, and that's some pretty good upside there.
Yeah, absolutely. Next game up on the slate is going to be the Miami Heat at the Brooklyn Nets. And man, there is a lot of Heat news. Obviously, Jimmy Butler is no longer there. Nico Dunleavy for the Warriors took on that awful contract and paid him like $50 million, which is just unbelievable to me. But no Kyle Anderson, newly acquired Kyle Anderson. Haywood Highsmith is looking to play. Same with Jovic. Kevin Love, questionable. Davion Mitchell is out. Andrew Wiggins is out. So none of the new guys for the Heat are going to be playing. And then on the other side, Noah Clowney is out. Ben Simmons got balled out. Cam Thomas is still out as well. If I missed anything, let me know. BJ. But I was I thought this spread would be a little higher. I think the Heat are playing a little bit better with Hero and Adebayo kind of being the dudes now. Terry Rozier burned me and everybody else the other night, I feel like. But talk to me about this game. It's a low 210-point total. Heat at the Nets.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat as you. This is a really interesting spread, and it's gone down. So this morning it was 6, now it's 5.5. Just really interesting for me. Normally, I consider stuff like this kind of like when you're playing cards. Like if it doesn't make sense, well, you kind of call the bluff on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to have interest, in these guards here. Bam is obviously going to be in play, but I'll start with the guards. I mean, Hero doesn't have the best matchup tonight, 8,400, but I read a couple of articles kind of suggesting that the Nets are going to play more zone, kind of with who they're rolling out now. And if that's the case, I want to get shooters. Rozier off the bench at 4,500. I mean, I think he's still definitely in play. I mean, he's still going to project, for his mid to high 20s in minutes at 4,500. I believe he can definitely get you there. I will slightly put him ahead of Duncan Robinson. Obviously, no ownership ever comes into him. So if you're making a ton of lineups, it's a really interesting spot. I think he does get some late run. And if he's able to get 26, 27 minutes and get a ton of minutes versus zone, we know he has upside when he's able to hit shots. And when he hits shots, he gets all of them. So just kind of a note to kind of mention, maybe a last guy in on lineup 27 out of 50. And then when we look down low, I mean, Bam is just playing awesome. My first thought was if the Nets are going to play zone on one side, Bam's assists are already up. And I believe they're going to continue to stay up if he's able to get in the middle of that zone. So I really like Bam. Where at 6K, I mean, super interesting. I did not check it. I mean, I don't know what he played in minutes last time out, so that's my fault for not knowing that. But he's just been balling, and 6K feels like a tag. But if he continues to get minutes, he's really interesting. So I can make a case for all these guys. Highsmith, I just think there's too much value on the slate to roster a guy that's just above a half fantasy point per minute at 3,200. So really interested in everybody else in starting lineup in Terry Rozier, and you can make a case for Jovic as well at 5,200. He's listed as probable tonight. But the Nets, I mean, they're terrible at defense, obviously, but they play so slow, and that's what kind of leads us to the 210 total. So I don't absolutely love any of these guys. And you can definitely make a case for a Bam at 8,200 at 22 to 25% ownership on getting on the fade train with that. So kind of, a second thought, if that goes any higher, I'll be off the Bam stuff. And then jumping over to the Nets, I mean, it's pretty ugly. I mean, the only name I want to mention is Keon Johnson at 5K, who's just been absolutely smashing over his last four. What is this? At least 34 DK points with upside of 43. 5K, that's just not enough. And you throw in that there's no ownership added to him. I absolutely love that. D'Lo's minutes have been down. Not going to touch him at 6,400. Zaire and Wilson, both those guys, their prices are very fair. And I don't really want to get to them with not having a clear certainty if either one of them can reach 30 minutes. I think they're both going to be about that 25-minute mark. And same goes for Cam Johnson. I mean, he came back and played 25 minutes, but 6'4" is just too big of a tag. I believe he's going to be somewhere around that 25-minute mark again, coming off, I believe it was 2.5, maybe 3 weeks off. So I'll be off the train there. And there is a case to be made for Claxton at 5,600, but I don't absolutely love it. And I think this is going to be one of those games that I'm able to just kind of uncheck the entire game and move on. Any takes on this game, or because I just don't want to dive off the game. So I'm not loving anything, but maybe you have a different thought.
Yeah, I mean, I went against my philosophy of never rostering any Brooklyn Net and played Keon Johnson the other night, and he actually did pretty well. So he would be the one, and then it's Bam or Hero and nobody else. I mean, you just look at this game. It's 210-point total. We have numerous. We have the last game we did was 241. The Cavs game is 239. I mean, that's a very significant difference, right? I mean, you're talking 10 baskets.
What, 25 possessions or give or take, right?
Yeah. So to me, it's like it's max one of Bam or Hero, which I like Bam more, and then it's max one of the Brooklyn guys. But it's more of a fade for me. Like if you're building 3 teams, I would feel very fine with fading this game altogether. That's just my take, just because I think we got a track meet right with Atlanta and the Bucks. I'd rather target that game myself.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to get to a game later in the night. We could do the exact same thing. You could take this 6-game slate and make it a 4-game slate, increase your combos. And then if, obviously if we're correct, I mean, give yourself way more outs to go and win first place.
Yep. Moving on to the next game. Should be a good one. We got the 76ers. I'm going to call them the new look 76ers. They got their big boys back, taking on the Pistons, who've been playing well. Lost a tough one to Atlanta the other night, but Maxi's in the game. PG-13, who is talk about buns, is back in the game. Oubre's having a good season. Joel Embiid went around and messed around and got himself a triple-double. Yabu's been playing out of his mind. But talk to me about this game, taking on Cade Cunningham, who is questionable but expected to play. Tobias Harris revenge game, BJ, kind of interest you in some of that at 5,700. But 76ers -4 in Detroit, 228-point total.
Yeah, no, I think it's the 3rd or 4th time this season maybe that all these guys are going to play together. But, I mean, we're going to just lead off with Joel Embiid. I mean, 10K coming off the triple-double. We can project his minutes somewhere in the low 30s. I absolutely love this spot. The Pistons are giving up tons of rim points right now, giving up a ton of threes as well. So their defense as a whole is just trending down. Throw in Cade's questionable tonight. That I think that's going to be a true 50-50. I mean, he got hurt the second half of last game. If you ever played basketball before and roll an ankle, you can just tie your shoes tighter and finish the night. But then when you wake up in the morning time, that's when it kind of starts to kick in. I understand the drugs are good in professional sports, so maybe they blast him up and he'll be just fine. But that's going to be another contingency point on the entire slate is Cade. If that is the case, if he is in, I'm all over Embiid. No Paul George for me when you consider Asura Thompson on the other side with his matchup with Embiid back. Yabu at 6K is pretty tough to get to. I believe when you throw Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid on the floor, you don't get to shoot. So yeah, I just kind of off. And then same goes for Kelly Oubre. I mean, he's been playing huge minutes, shown some upside. They just won't increase his tag, but with all these guys on the floor, it's not going to get the shots. And would probably guard Cade on the other side, to be honest with you. So don't really love that. And Maxey's just a guy that I really like to target, when Paul George is off the floor. But it is an interesting spot. And as I kind of finish up this team, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. But if Paul George, is going to have a really tough matchup and nobody's going to own Maxey at 10K, certainly a really interesting, very, flyer GPP at 1 or 2%. Obviously has the upside. And Paul George could kind of get thrown in the blender tonight and not get much offensive opportunity. So love him, not like a play you're playing in 5 lineups, but as we start getting into the double-digit lineups, I really like him. And then for the Pistons, I'll keep it short before I let you dive in. It's Cade's in. I want to get to Cade at 10-5. I understand that with all these guys in, the 76ers will project better on defense, but it's Cade Cunningham. He's taking a million shots. His sister Gray playing huge minutes. If he does play, I don't anticipate the ankle to hurt him at all. So I do like him at 10-5. And if he is in, don't have much love for very many guys on this team after that. I mean, don't want to make a case for Tim Hardaway. I don't want to make a case for Thompson getting, a defensive responsibility of Paul George on the other side. I guess you could, all jokes aside, make a case for Tobias Harris or Duren, as the second option in the offense with a 112-point team total in a close game. But I believe both of those prices are very fair if Cade is out, Saucier at 3K is, Saucer is going to be in play and probably very popular. 3K with minutes is just too hard to get away from. And then throw in Beasley, Mikal Beasley. I absolutely love it. 5,100. He's been rebounding well. He's been shooting the ball well. And this is only if Cade is out, but I believe he's going to take on a huge offensive responsibility. Also bumped Tobias Harris. But that's really all that I have here. I mean, this is, a meh kind of total when you look at some of these other games, but it is a close game. The thought process of where the basketball is going to go is going to be easy for the Sixers side. But if Cade's out, open up the floodgates for some mid-tier value. But I'm going to get away and just focus on Beasley and Harris.
Yeah, excellent breakdown there. What's going on, Rio? Thanks for popping in. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Maxey. I like Maxey. No one played Maxey the other night because against Dallas because Embiid was coming back. No way Maxey, gets the shots up. All he did was play 40 more minutes, shoot it 20 plus times again, and put up a 63 on DK. And then he followed that. I think with 50 something the next night. I know Embiid didn't play that next night, but my point is Maxey's still getting his with Embiid. PG-13 is a thing of the past. I'm with you. I think you kind of alluded to it as his offensive production with those two. He's definitely the third in the pecking order there. So give me some Maxey. Give me some Embiid. I haven't built a team yet with Maxey and Embiid, and it would be tough to get there, but I don't hate it, right? Like you said, if you get into 10-plus teams, just to be different, to try to ping pong your way up to number one, that might be different because there is some value, especially in the next game that we're going to talk about. But excellent breakdown there. We got one game left on the docket. If you haven't done so,
you know what? Yet, hey, man, that's my fault. Pre-show, I see this damn good-looking mustache on the other side, and I don't comment on. That's supposed to be my job, here as a teammate on the show to be able to shout you out. So Rio coming in off the bench on his night off, coming in and shouting out the stash, but that thing's flowing. It'll probably take me 4 or 5 months to grow something like that.
Yeah, when you get to be my age, BJ, you just grow it with ease now, and then it'll be gone come Monday. A little weekend treat for everybody out there. But yeah, appreciate you, Hebrew, joining in. Appreciate all the love for the stash. We got one game left. 300 watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Helps us out a ton. And real quick, if you aren't a member at the Nation, head on over there. Enter the promo code SHIP50. That'll get you $50 off your first month. We'd love to have you and join us over here at the Nation. Should be another blowout with all the injuries, with all the trades going on. But we got one of the best teams in the NBA. We got the OKC Thunder taking on the Raptors tonight. Davion Mitchell has been shipped off. No lockdown defender there. RJ Barrett is out with an illness or a concussion. Brandon Ingram is not playing tonight as well. Jakob Poeltl, we always butcher his name. Patel, whatever. He's out tonight. James Wiseman, he's not playing anyway, but they also waived him. He's going to be out. Looks like the OKC Thunder are in full action, except for Case and Wallace. We got the return of the lanky one, Chet Holmgren, making his return tonight for this Thunder team. Should be a blowout. I'll stop talking. And we got a 3-touchdown spread tonight, BJ, to wrap us up. Thunder against the Raptors, 19.5. Talk to me a little bit about this one.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Raptors to be full strength to get everybody going. I think they're going to be one of the longest teams, if not the longest team, as far as wingspan goes, with all these guys on the other side after the Ingram trade. So kind of curious to see what shakes out with all those guys on the floor. But shout out to PJ Tucker. I think he was traded like 4 times, this in the last couple of days.
Him and Schroeder.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Crazy stuff from Schroeder. I feel bad, but hey, what are you gonna do? If you're PJ Tucker,
that guy making $20 million a year, I know it's tough for him.
You know what? It's funny. My buddy and I were talking about it. I was unaware. It's a couple years ago. He turned down like an $80 million contract or something. That might be a little high, but turned it down, and it was just it was when he was with the Lakers. So just crazy stuff as far as the league goes. I know Boogie was in the same situation a handful of years back, but getting back to this ugly game. We'll start with the easy stuff on the Raptors side. I will not be paying up for Scotty Barnes 9,100 with such a huge spread total. Mogbo is going to be the highest owned player on the slate if I had to guess right now at 3,100. I'm projecting somewhere between 27 and 30 minutes for him, and at 3,100, I don't care who he's playing against. I don't care if he's playing against Team USA. We're going to load him up at 31. And then we're going to be, kind of facing the same thing we faced for about the last week or so with Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter, and kind of middling to fair price tags. I mean, I have Jacoby at 28 minutes, Grady Dick at 30, Chris Boucher off the bench at 22. I think these are going to offer avenues at lower ownership than the Wizards guys. I don't have a take. I think I'd rather go Wizards guys, but these would be really interesting to get half of the ownership, a third of the ownership. But that's kind of where I'll leave it. It's just I'm going to use value pieces from here. Obviously no Quickly, obviously no Barnes. I guess you could throw Abaje into the mix, but the Raptors, offensively are good at the rim and good in transition. And those are the two things that the Thunder take away the best. So jumping over to the Thunder side, I think this is a 3-quarter game for SGA. I mean, shout out to Chet being back. I think him and Hartenstein are going to split those center minutes, but I would anticipate Hartenstein to play 25, let's call it, and Chet to play 18 to 20. I think those are very fair minute projections for them. So obviously both of those guys are out of play. Jalen Williams at 8K. I mean, it's a little bit tougher, and same goes for Wiggins as part of the starting lineup at 49. I think this is going to be a game where I'm just going to try and hope that these guys don't hurt me in 3 quarters, which certainly SGA can do, and we've seen it a handful of times this season. But I think I'm more inclined to kind of, if I am going to get cute on this slate, get an Isaiah Joe at no ownership, or get a Kenrich Williams at no ownership, one of these guys off the bench. But I hate to kind of end out our slate breakdown with a game with not really having much to love. Am I missing anything here, or are you going to be on the same boat, just kind of playing some value guys from either side and hoping that the game doesn't hurt you on a 6-game slate?
Yeah, I mean, you plug in any optimizer. I mean, you're going to get some of these Raptors guys just because they are so dirt cheap. It's going to allow you to jam in the studs. Yeah, Mogbo, you said it. I mean, I don't hate him at 31, especially if he's in the starting lineup. Walter's okay, but man, they're going to get absolutely. I mean, how many points does Mogbo, let's say at 35%, need to get? I mean, what if he gets 20? Is he on the winner at 3,100? You think?
20, you're right, would be a little bit tougher. I know that kind of grades out. If he does play 30 minutes, I mean, it's going to be, he could have a tough night shooting and kind of find himself in that spot. I think with the value that we have on the slate at, what'd you say, 20, 21 points, he does not get there. But I think when he starts getting up above 25, 26 points, I think you'll absolutely need him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I hate the Raptors, but at those prices, I think you may have to have one. I'm with you. I wouldn't pay for Scotty Barnes at that price. No way. This one's tough. I mean, to me, someone was talking about it in the chat. I think it's a relatively easy slate too, because there's 2 teams that I'm definitely marking off my list, and then a bunch of other folks as well. And I'm going to focus on those games that are going to turn into track meets myself. I was building some teams as you were talking, but yeah, I think you said you like the Wizards better than the Raptors. Maybe I got that wrong, but I kind of like the Wizards at half the ownership, as you talked about, a little bit better myself.
Well, I think half the ownership goes to the Raptors, right?
Yeah. They're going to be half.
Okay,
the
good. Yeah. No, I agree. I'm all over the Wizards stuff, but it's just really interesting. I mean, if you're going to get, let's just take an easy swap here. I mean, if you're going to play, let's call it Keyshawn George at 38, or make the decision on Jacoby Walter. I mean, what's Walter, 12, and Keyshawn George is at 30. I think, unfortunately, you got to go Jacoby, with a third of the ownership. But I think that this is the decision point on the slate. Obviously, the studs and the news will come out, but the decision point is where you're going to put your eggs in what basket as far as value. And I think, I'm not saying play it, but this is going to be a really interesting basket at lower ownership.
Yeah, Jim, I like Bobby. Don't call me Bobby Boucher, Chris Boucher as well. But yeah, all right, excellent breakdown there. That's all 6 games. If you want some more insight, head on over to SHIPIT Nation. Myself, BJ, Hebrew Cheetah will be in the Discord up until certainly ask us any questions that you like. We do it every Friday, BJ. Give me the stud play of the day, then give me that value play that you're going to need in those lineups tonight.
Yeah. If Giannis is in, the easy answer is Giannis. I mean, great matchup with the Hawks. I am leaning, though, that he is going to be out tonight. coming off the 2 minutes before game tip-off scratch. I don't think he sees the court tonight. If that is the case, I'm all over Joel Embiid at 10K for 64.75 fantasy points. I believe you're going to need him to win tournaments. Additionally, when we go lower, I'll give you two of my favorite. I mean, it's going to be Bub Carrington at 3,300, hoping that ownership doesn't get out of hand, leading the team in touch time last time out. And I know he'll also be popular as well, but Diabate at 4,300, playing almost 30 minutes, in my opinion, tonight. And if that's the case, this once 0.75 fantasy point per minute producer is now above 1, and we could see a big old 37 bomb from him tonight. So those will be my favorite to round out the show.
Yeah, you stole my guy. I mean, 3,300, a guy that's going to play that much. You know, you talk about good chalk, bad chalk. I think Bub, tripped up Bub, as Hebrew says. I think Bub Carrington was my guy as well. And then I'm going to go a little foxy tonight. I got De'Aaron Fox blowing up again. Hey, 54 DK points in his first time out and left a ton of meat on the bone, missing 11 shots. Give me some De'Aaron Fox going up against this Hornets team that's not very good. I did see LaMelo.
He attended. He did not participate.
Well, yeah, he attended. Yeah, so good point there. I was thinking swipe it to Fox. I don't even know what that means. But in any event, we appreciate you tuning in. Have a good weekend. Rio will have some showdown content tonight. I forgot who the game was, but there is a late night game. Who is that?
I don't have it here.
The Jazz and the Suns. So you know Rio's going to be dialed into that with his Utah Jazz coming off that big win against the Warriors the other night. Going to be a bunch of scoring, so it should be an exciting showdown slate. Head on over to SHIPITNation.com. We got you covered over there. Appreciate you tuning in. Anything else, BJ, before we get on out of here?
No, man. I mean, if you were selling action at your Scotty plus 550, I'd be all over that. That man's going to take away and win by 2 strokes this weekend. Can't wait to watch him finish up as we turn on the Super Bowl. So good luck to everybody in that.
Oh yeah, I got to ask you too. Who we got? You got Eagles or Chiefs?
You know what? I just don't think I could. I don't think I could watch the Chiefs win again. I can't do it. I can't put up with the Taylor Swift stuff, the Travis Kelce stuff. Those guys have either cost me money all year for me playing them and not playing well, or every time I fade them, they absolutely go off. So I'm done with this Chiefs run. And additionally, I play golf with a guy 2-3 days a week. He is just the biggest Chiefs fan, has like 4 or 5 flags flying in the out on the hole because he lives on the course. I can't put up with it anymore. I can't see him continue to throw stuff in my face. So go Birds.
All right, BJ's got the Birds. I want Saquon to rush for 225 and 3 touchdowns. I like him, but I want Mahomes to win his 3rd straight. I like Mahomes. I like Brittany. I like Big Red. I like them all. But anyway, appreciate you tuning in. Have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday. And always remember, let's ship it.